anxiety to the point to where I hope the host and really the guest cancels on me, and then it's a rush of being a host and I assume a guest as well. Are you pretty comfortable either way? Do you prefer being a host or a guest? The anxiety for me is super high either way, but it's different.
I tend to agree. My day-to-day anxiety sits, at a pretty even level. When I say even, I mean it doesn't lower. So I always have a baseline that I deal with, and then I will be record. Well, I will be right before I'm supposed to record, and like it's suddenly time to go to the bathroom, or like my palms will start sweating.
Yep.
For my show, at being the host, I can start the recording, and then I can start running my mouth until I talk the anxiety away. But here, or any other time as a guest, I'm there kind of waiting for my cue to talk and letting the anxiety build and build until finally I have a release for it. So it is definitely there both ways, and then definitely a little bit different either time.
Is there one to where, like, for me, I think being a guest on other shows, and I've only done it a few times, my anxiety is I feel like I'm more put on the spot because I know in the back end, I can't hide things or fix things and edit. And I don't edit a lot. But the worst part for me, and I'm telling you, like, anxiety to the point to where I hope the host and really the guest sometimes cancels on me, and then it's a rush of okay, it's bought me a day. And we'll get into a little bit of that as to why the hell you and I are even doing shows if this isn't, like, it doesn't come natural, because I think you've hinted before that you're an extreme introvert as well.
Yeah, I it's like you took the words out of my mouth with the whole hoping that the guest would cancel, because there's been multiple times where I've been sitting there waiting, whatever time the start was, and then like 1 minute passed, and I'm like, I immediately start to relax, and I'm like, okay, maybe they're not coming, maybe something came up, and then I'll start to formulate this response to them where I'm like, it's totally fine, I don't care at all that you missed. We'll do it again whenever you want. Hoping that the next time will be easier. It's crazy that you said that too. As far as which I don't know, the control thing definitely does help, I think, because I can, worst case scenario, in the middle of the conversation, if something it strikes me wrong, I get you like, okay, this isn't going right. We need to stop. We need to start all over.
Right.
And you don't really have that quite as much as a guest. So it is a double-edged sword in that I want that control, but as a guest, I don't need to worry about a lot of things. Like if your internet went down, or if your StreamYard started acting funny, or like, that's not on me. I don't have to worry about that. I've had issues where I forgot to plug the mic in, or something like that, just something simple. And I don't really worry about that as much when I'm the guest, because it's like, I don't know, there's just not that side, there's not that angle to my anxiety. It's just a little bit easier to kind of like, it's easier to sit down. I didn't feel like I had to go to the bathroom today, but then once I was in here waiting, because even before that I was like, okay, it's 4 minutes till, should I go on, should I click, I don't know, should I wait until right on, is it going to look weird if I came in early? And so it hit me hard.
That's the thing, is people are going to look at you and I, and they're going to say, okay, well, they've got their own shows, they're on social media, they're in front of the camera, they must be extroverts, they must love doing this. And people are shocked to find out to where, when I tell them I am not only not an extrovert, I am as introverted as you can get. And the older I get, the more introverted and the less I want to engage or go out and interact with people. This is different. I can't explain it, but they're shocked that people like yourself or like me are like, well, why would you guys put yourself through this to do a show? Like, that's, so there kind of goes into another question for me to you. if you're not totally comfortable and and this anxiety hits you each time that you're either hosting or you're a guest, why are you doing the show? And are you doing this for some other reason other than a dad podcast or talking military type stuff?
Well, I think if I have to simplify it as much as I can, I do this because I want to be a better dad. And I know that the easiest way, taking into account my introverted nature, I don't even like to go to the comic store. I'd rather just order my comics online. But like taking that into account, it's easiest for me to speak to people and to learn from other dads in this sort of environment. In order to keep doing that, in order to broaden my reach and to get more and more guests interested in coming on, I continue forcing myself to endure that and to deal with that anxiety, because with each new dad that I meet or with each new
Mhm.
podcast that I'm on as a guest, I learn something and I grow, and either I'm a better podcaster or I'm a better father, or my mental health is a little bit stronger in some way, shape, or form. I think that it's just one of those things, kind of like ice baths. You do something that you don't want to do because you know that it has benefit for you.
Do you think that the anxiety is that prior to your military service, or did it get ratcheted up or kind of change with your experience within the military, and you are thus kind of addressing that you're trying to not only make yourself a better father but a better person overall? And I've heard you say that in a lot of the clips that you've posted, and I love your clips. You and I are relatively new to kind of finding each other and checking each other out. I really enjoy the clips that I see because I see somebody that is recognizing. And you've got one son, correct?
Yeah.
How old is he?
He will be 3 in July.
Three. Oh, I great age. The fact that I've heard you several times say you're trying to become a better person, a better father, and you're recognizing that, and you're probably working on things similar to what I've been doing for many years, whether it's my garden persona and being out in the garden and working on things. It has nothing to do with growing a tomato. I'm working on things and being out there on social media and doing this podcast. I am working on internal things myself that I'm trying to overcome, whether it's anxiety, it's feeling like I'm being put on the spot. And it's, I recognize that with you. And I appreciate the fact that you are not only addressing it and helping yourself, but I think you're helping other people. And is your network for your podcast, is that other military dads, or is it dads in general? Just so happens to be a lot of people you know are ex-military.
Well, for the most part, I think it's dads. The veteran side of things came into play a little bit later on as I interviewed more and more military dads. And I take pride in my military service, but I also have a lot of shame because I just didn't do anything really. So, you know, when people say thank you for your service, I always just mumble something indiscernible and go about my business because I don't want know what to say. I do have a lot of interest in that side of my life and talking to veterans and giving them the same kind of outlet that I am trying to give to dads. It seems like, at least in my short experience, that the veterans I talk to actually seem to get more out of the show and sharing than the dads, because almost every veteran almost that I've talked to has gone on some deployment and has, you know, some issues from that, for lack of a better way of putting it. And there's very little that can help, you know, at least in the short term, better than just talking about things and you know, just getting your message out there, telling whatever stories on your mind at that time, and you being accepted. Because I'm not the type of host that ever like judges anybody or tries to change their way of thinking. I feel like, and this is kind of a tangent, but I feel like a lot of dad podcasts, and not to criticize them at all because I follow a lot of them, but they're out there trying to tell you how to be a dad and how to, you know, live in some way better, at least. And I'm out there, my podcast is trying to learn from all the dads. I want dads to tell me how to be, you know, tell me what worked for you, tell me how to be better at whatever it is that I'm not so good at. And like I know my failures. I'm not a great cook. I spend too much time on my phone. Like, tell me, how you overcame those sorts of things. Like, tell me how you got through diaper training and the techniques that you used that made you or made your son or daughter able to finally potty in the toilet. Because I want to learn those things as quickly as I can, so that this whole process is easier for my son. Because like I said, is in terms of being a better dad, my dad, he did not know how to father. He loved me for whatever that was worth, but he did not know how to be a dad in any way, shape, or form. And he essentially, wasn't there, at least emotionally and psychologically. So I had to teach myself everything, uh, top to bottom, when it came to being a dad. And there's a lot of gaps, and there's a lot of weak links in my chain. And I want these guests to come on and teach me that. And if I can get a veteran in the midst of that, I'm certainly going to take them. Because for one, we've all got great stories, or at least they seem great to me. And I don't know that mine are that great, but everyone that's come on has had a pretty cool story. And they, like I said, they seem to get as much or more out of talking and sharing as the dads do.